Alright, so we've just found this medium-sized reticulated python. He was actually over there. We didn't manage to get the capture on video because he was getting away too quick. But we just moved him here a couple steps further to get a little bit of video. Yeah, as you can see, this one's being quite defensive, as they usually are once they get past a certain size. As juveniles, they're typically quite docile and won't even bite if you handle them. But when they get past the 1 meter mark, this one's about maybe 2.5 or 3 meters, I'd say, they do tend to get quite bitey. So we're going to try work with it a little bit. I can see it's got some ticks on its head, which we'll remove in a moment. Just want to see if I can get a better hand on it. Again, I'm trying to be as gentle and slow as possible so I don't agitate it even more. And many snakes, even at this size, will calm down surprisingly much after being worked with for a couple minutes. As you can see, she's just sitting here, probably not knowing what to do. Calmed down quite a lot, probably a bit exhausted too. Snakes tire out very quickly. They have a lot of power, but they don't have a lot of stamina. They can only keep going actively for a very short amount of time before they tire out. I'm going to gently try get it behind the head so that we can remove some of these large ticks. Alright.
Move. Alright, got it.
Alright, so you can see here where these ticks are, there's actually a bit of blood on his skin. I think this is from when he was rubbing up against something to try and remove the ticks. A little bit of blood came out. So we're just going to carefully hold his mouth closed and pluck off these ticks. And as you can see, it's not too happy about this.
Show me a tick in the camera. Wait, down, lay down. Okay, good. Wait, perfect.
Alright, so we've just removed 4 or 5 ticks from its head, and we're going to let it go now. I saw before it was trying to climb this tree, so we're going to let it go here in hopes of maybe we can get a video of it climbing. It's probably a bit confused as to what's going on right now, so I'm going to gently help him move along so that he realizes he's free. But right now he's just concentrated on being defensive towards me. Oh, see, right away now that he thinks he can get away, he'll start climbing. Can I film this part?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, look at that.
It's amazing how such a large snake can climb so easily.
Right. Very powerful. Adios, mi amor.
Alright, well, up the tree it goes. Let's go find more. Alright, so we were walking along the road and we spotted this Trimeresurus macrops, or Macrops Pit Viper. Gage actually spotted it. It's quite unusual to find them up on a high branch like this. Usually they're lower to the ground hunting for geckos and frogs and stuff like that. So it's quite unusual to find one on a branch this thick and this high off the ground. This one gave me a little strike before, so I'm going to be extra careful. I'm going to bring it down. These are very similar to the very common white-lipped pit vipers, Trimeresurus albolabris, but these ones are shorter and bulkier, and they don't get as long either. This is actually it's not a very big one, but it's an adult, or a young adult. And some of them will have a bluish tint. This one doesn't really, this one's almost purely green, but we're going to keep looking later and see if we can find one that's a bit more blue. Those ones are rarer. The common version is the green one. And these ones also have very large eyes in comparison to their head size for Trimeresurus species. So one of the common names is actually the large-eyed pit viper. Alright, we're going to keep looking and hope if we can find a blue one. Gonna let Gage get some more pictures and then we're going to release it. Played with him a bit, yeah. Now we've taken some photos, played with him a bit, and now we're going to release him right back on the branch where we found him. Alright, so it's been very fun interacting with this little female Trimeresurus Macrops, and we're going to put it right back on the branch here where we found it. Alright, well, we'll let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Alright, so we're about to walk into this patch of forest that I know is really good for macrops. I found a lot there before. Alright, let's go. So someone's definitely came through here and cleared the forest up a bit. It's very disturbed now, so I'm hoping we'll still be able to find one. Oh, there's one.
Yeah, you got one?
Yeah. Looks like another large female.
Oh, yeah. See right there, Gage? Yeah. Bigger than the last one.
Alright, so he's starting to move off now. I'm going to gently get him out with the hook at first before I can tell whether or not this one is going to be bitey. This one is another female just like the last one, but this one has quite a bit more blue to it, especially on the side and on the bottom of his body, of her body, sorry. Seems to be very calm again, same as the last one. But if you can get a shot from the ventral scales, you can see really how the coloration is kind of bluish.
Wait, don't move.
These are one of my favorite little vipers to find. Very pretty little snakes, a bit wiry and tricky to work with sometimes. Definitely a very pretty little snake, especially their heads. They're just so short with that big eye and the blue coloration that comes up on the lip. Oh. It's really pretty. Especially from the underside, that turquoise blue color really shows. Very beautiful snake. Oh, and we've got a bug on it. Look at that little roach just sitting on its neck. There, now you can see if you zoom out a little, you can see the ventral side really well. In order to show you the blue ventral scales, I'm going to try to carefully grab it by the head. There we go. There, and now if you can see underneath, they're really a very different shade of green than on top, almost blue, turquoisey. Especially on that upper lip, the blue is quite intense. Alright, so we're gonna release it right here where we found it, and we'll keep herping.
So cool, bro.
Alright, so we just found our third species for tonight. This one is a white-lipped pit viper. Trimeresurus albolabris, closely related to the Macrops vipers we just found. But as you can see, it's a way more yellow shade of green, and the eye is a lot smaller in comparison to the head. Plus also the entire snake is a lot larger. And as you can see on the lip and bottom of the head, there's no blue at all, and there's actually more of a yellow to the green, unlike the blue with the Macrops. And the eye, in proportion to the head, is a lot smaller as well, and the color of the eye is different. The Macrops have that bright yellow eye, and this one has kind of an orangey, tan kind of eye. This one's quite chunky. At first I thought she might be gravid, but it could just be a good, healthy individual. Alright, we'll let it go.
Hold on, let me get some with it.
Yeah. Alright, so here's another much smaller retic that we just found. Again, Gage found it. He seems to be the top spotter tonight. Right now being a little bit defensive, but at this size they usually mellow out much quicker than the larger ones, like the one we found earlier. Now that I see it, he's actually also got some ticks on his head, which I should probably remove. If you want to get close up in here, you can see, not as badly as the previous one, but he does have some ticks right on top, like a small cluster of ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, which I'm just gonna gently remove one by one. That one got 2 actually. Ticks are so annoying. Alright, I don't see any more. Oh yeah, I got one crawling on me. Get off. I'm gonna put the snake back on the ground. Try not to get bit. It's still wrapped around me pretty good.
gorgeous one.
Definitely already way more calm now than 2 minutes ago. I'd imagine one at this size to be about a year, maybe 2 years old, but the speed at which they grow highly depends on the amount of food that they're finding. With a lot of large prey items, they'll grow much quicker than if they're getting smaller, less frequent meals. But as you can see, mellowing out quite nicely. Unlike that bigger one we had earlier, that one didn't really cooperate at all. Very sweet snake. He or she is just gently crawling on me now. It's recognized that I'm not really a threat. And yeah. Definitely a very nice size retic, much easier to work with than the large ones. And in very good condition too. I don't see any scars or anything like that.
Sounds like Retix has got a dog in the background.
Yeah. But it's squeezing this arm quite hard. You can see my veins probably starting to stick out a lot on this hand. Alright, well, it was just crawling across the road. This is a quiet road. I don't think there are going to be any more traffic here today. So I think it's safe to just release it right back where we found it on the road here.